What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we've got some more XFL news, and then I've got a little bit of channel news that I want to get into. All right, let's not waste any more time. If it's your first time here, glad to have you. If you're a return viewer, thanks for coming back, and thanks for watching more videos. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. Remember, guys, leave me those comments down in the comment section. You know how I love to interact with you, and you know that if it's a good one, you know I'll definitely go ahead and I'll feature that. Now, we've got three big things that we need to cover with the XFL, and it just seems to be that the XFL just keeps giving us information, so we're going to definitely go through and cover it. The first one being that I think we finally are starting to figure out what the XFL game was going to look like and what it was. Now, we've been kind of seeing throughout the web, and that it was looking like Maximum Football was looking at possibly going to be maybe doing a deal with the XFL. It looked like that they might have presented some information to the XFL, and the XFL was looking to see how their first season was going to go before they were going to kind of do anything and go anywhere with it. We kind of saw some mock-up images of that and things of that nature with it. You know, take it for what it's worth with it there. You know, how do I feel about that? You know, I was super excited about Maximum Football when they said that they were bringing college football back. And they did. And I would say they did a fairly good job. However, I don't think that it's NCAA 14. In what it is, and I think it left a lot of people lacking, especially in the on-field football realm. Now, I'm not trying to knock it, and I don't want to knock it. For what those guys have, with the small team that they have, what they're doing is just amazing, and they've been really doing a great things, even having Unity as partnering up with them that they just released here recently. This is a big deal, and this company's going big places to where their next iteration, I think, is going to take it to the next level. I really believe that it's going to be something that's really going to be of note. And if you pay any attention to a lot of the guys out there who do play, you know, Maximum Football, they do say, listen, they've got to figure some things out. Their animations, the way that they are, they've got some glitches in the game. The game is very glitchy. But a lot of the logic and a lot of the things that they have in the game is fairly solid. Whereas, you know, you're not locked into these animations and these things and the game kind of deciding things go. It actually does true simulation, unlike Madden. Whereas Madden looks absolutely flawless, Madden has a lot of flaws when you actually, like, you know, drill things down. And Madden is glitchy as well. You know, I would have rather seen, you know, 2K handle this. I would have loved to have seen a 2K game. It doesn't look like 2K was really going to be that. The other thing is it's looking like, you know, even the WWE 2K game for next year's dead. That project, you know, that usually comes out in the fall-ish time, late summer, fall. You know, it's looking like that game is probably not going to be happening this year. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But, you know, just looking at like 2K8, Pro Football 2K8 compared to, you know, Maximum Football, I would have loved to rather had just, you know, if we could have just got somebody just to get that code, update that game, you know, put in some modern nuances with that, and really be able to develop that with it. That, listen, they would have a gold mine on their hands just to update, you know, some of the looks, some of the things with it, add in some new plays, some new functionality with that, update some of the mechanics, because football has evolved since then, you know, and take it from a 90s game, you know, because that's kind of how they styled it, and bring it, I think, would be great. But we found out that, you know, probably Maximum Football was who they were talking about for the game. And the sad thing is that we won't ever get that XFL game. With what's been going on with everything, you know, I mean, it's sad all the way around, because the XFL was huge. It was a big deal. And it, you know, was very successful for what they were. And that really kind of just changes, and that kind of changes things and brings us to our next story. And really is that as this Oliver, you know, Luck lawsuit is coming out, we're seeing more and more come out, and it's not looking good in McMahon's favor. And I don't mean legally, I mean in the perception of the public. You know, Oliver Luck is a very well-respected man. And for him to leave the NCAA with the position that he had, it had to be a guaranteed deal for him to do what he did. So to get the $20 million over 5 years, that had to be guaranteed. For him to leave the job that he had at the NCAA and for McMahon to cut him off like he did, listen, that is what it is. You know my stance on it. Oliver Luck is worth every dime, and I think that he should get every dime that was there for him, because he did not do anything wrong, and this league was much more successful than anybody thought it would be, especially in hindsight. I mean, they were looking so good that they were ahead of what they were projecting themselves to be. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody thought this was going to happen. And the way that McMahon has done this and pulled the plug and really pulled the carpet out from underneath everybody, it really shows us that, I was kind of wondering if, hey, is this lawsuit just kind of one of those things that's just kind of a formality that needs to happen with this? They filed bankruptcy. You got to go through all the motions with it. It doesn't seem to be looking that way. And the other thing is that as days go on, it's looking worse and worse for Vince McMahon. Oliver Luck is a man with a lot, especially in the sports world, with a lot of connections. He is a man that is revered in a lot of places and is liked by a lot of people. Has a lot of connections, especially obviously from his years with, running Houston, whether it be in, the NCAA, whether it be with, the NFL Europe type stuff. He is a guy that knows a lot of people the way that McMahon has handled it with him and done that, he has not made any friends in the sports world, to where I don't really see anybody picking anything up with McMahon and doing anything with him anytime soon. And I mean, this just goes to show you just kind of where things are setting, because it is just sad that what has happened to the XFL, because by all intents and purposes, the XFL was doing fantastic. They were doing better than what they thought they would. They've even come out, people who were employees of the league were saying, we never thought any of this was going to happen. We never thought any of this. Guys are doing interviews and stuff and stating this, that, listen, we never thought that McMahon and Pollock, what they were talking about was shutting the league down completely. We thought, hey, we're going to just reload and we're going into 2021 and we're going hard, because, they were projecting higher than what they thought they were. And their losses were less than what they thought that they were going to be at this time. And it's just going to show that, again, this does not look good for McMahon, and this is not good for him, for his reputation. And unfortunately, it looked like it was something that possibly he had to do, because the WWE is not doing well either. They're not pulling in the numbers that they had been in the past. He's got contracts that he's got to fulfill, and that he's released a bunch of wrestlers, with that. And so not only is he's just all the way around just kind of bleeding, from just all corners. And I think pulling the plug on the XFL was kind of the final straw. Now we'll see here what will happen with the XFL. The XFL is for sale, and I'd love to see somebody pick that up, and it would be great to see somebody pick that up. Will it happen? I don't know. And it really truly was telling to me, when you've got, I think I can't remember the one reporter. It was in one of the previous videos I said, where he said, if Vince McMahon wanted to, this league could have easily survived if he really wanted to really fight for the league. And it kind of really showed, where he's sitting and where things are at. And I think it really shows, again, he's one of those guys that's been, he's been kind of put in that position as kind of one of those kind of people that, whether you like it or not, I'm not getting into politics. I'm just saying that this is what's happened. Kind of one of those people that is kind of reporting to Trump on, business wise, where they are in the business, how they're seeing things, how this is affecting them, and this and that. And for him to pull the plug is probably, showing us to where we're seeing things that are possibly going to go with sports here in the future. And so, maybe he just saw the writing on the wall and pulled the plug quicker than anybody else to save his losses. I don't know. I will say, I will give him this. He did pay all of his employees. They all got a paycheck before they all got laid off. Now, all the contracts and that stuff, that's another story. They'll go through bankruptcy, whatever with it. But at least all of the actual employees got a final paycheck, which is a lot more than what the AAF can say. Now, let's move on to our happy story, because we have a happy story. And, it's Kenny Robinson Jr. And listen, this has been it's been a positive story since day one with the XFL. And I feel good for this guy. This is a young man who's made some bad decisions, but he's gifted and talented, and he's given some second chances and decided to take his second chance in the XFL, and it's panned out for him and worked out really well. And I think that it's going to pan out for him really well. I think that the Panthers got him for a steal in the 5th round. They got him in the 5th round. Now, this is a guy going into his senior year is projected to be a first-round draft pick. All right? At safety, this guy's 200 pounds, and he's 6'2", so he's a long, fast safety, and the guy is a ball-hawking safety, which you watched him. He played in the XFL, and he played at a high level. The guy is starting. He's probably one of the best safeties in the whole entire league, if not the best safety in the league. The guy made some phenomenal plays. That one interception he made was just amazing. But the thing is, they got him for a steal in the 5th round. This is a guy who he is definitely going to be a contributor, probably a starter next year for the Panthers, and they literally got him for pennies. Now he's gonna make some money next year, and I think this is all good things for everybody all the way around. With that, and I truly do believe that he is ahead of a lot of these rookies coming in. Listen, he's not really rookie. The guy's got professional football under his belt. He was playing against, you can say whatever you want about the XFL, this or that. He's playing against higher quality than what is on the college football field. He's playing with the best of the best that were on the field in college football. These are guys that he was playing against are all Americans. They're all league. They're the top guys that were on their teams and in their conferences in college. And so he's playing with them and playing at a high level against them. He is at a different place than a lot of the college players. Not to mention, he was coached by NFL coaches. So he got a whole offseason and 5 games with NFL coaches. This is huge. This is going to put him ahead of a lot of the other rookies, and this is going to really open things up here, because this is where I kind of want to go with our discussion on this, because I truly do feel that this is a good thing for us all the way around, and we are in such weird times, just unprecedented times, to where right now, college football, I don't even know if we'll get any sports back for 2020. I'm just being flat out honest. We might get something here or there. I know that they're really wanting to, because just the sports world is just bleeding money here and there. I mean, if you watch the NFL draft, it was, I got to hang out with the End Zone, and thank you for having me on, man. It was a blast, and I loved hanging out with him. He's Sean over there's just an awesome dude. But the actual broadcast itself was just boring. It just was. I mean, there really wasn't any excitement. There wasn't any excitement in the picks. And the other thing is, you didn't have the fans there getting excited about their teams. You didn't have the guys going up on the stage. I mean, it was just kind of flat. And unfortunately, I feel like that for 2020, we're not going to get any football. I mean, we're right now talking about, remember, college football is still college, meaning they're still considered students before they are football players. And so they're going to have to get students back on campus and actually going to actual classes and not doing virtual classes before we can ever think about anything with football. And I just don't see that happening. Meaning, it's going to be really interesting, because it's already been shown by the XFL that people are hungry for football. People want more football. Football can succeed anytime, anywhere. And I truly believe that football can be like soccer. And I'm going to do another video and I'm going to show you how soccer is prevalent throughout the whole world. Soccer is played all of the time. It's never out of season. And there are different leagues and people follow it and people enjoy it and people love it across the world. Why can't we have that with football? Why is it there's this one-all be-all league and then there's this pseudo minor league with the college football, and that's all that we have? Why can't we get more? I'm sick and tired, and I've used this analogy before, but listen, it is what it is. If you're telling me like I love chocolate chip cookies, they're my favorite dessert. They're always going to be my favorite dessert. But if you got brownies sitting there, just because I love chocolate chip cookies and they're there and brownies are there, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to take both. You're darn right. I'm going to take both and I'm going to eat the brownie first and I'm going to save my chocolate chip cookie because I'm going to savor my chocolate chip cookie and I'm going to love it. My thing is why can't I have both? And I want all of the football that I can dang get. And I think that we can have that. And I think that we can do that. I think that we can have, it's already been shown that we can. The thing is whether or not somebody's going to pony up and put the money that we can actually have football. And see, here's going to be the crux with it, is how these sports leagues are going to do things in that with it. Because I don't think we're going to get college football to where you're going to have these football players who are in school, going to be going to school doing this, and they might have some football leagues coming knocking and might be throwing some money in their faces, and they might thinking, you know what, I'm not playing football. I want to play some football, to where they might actually pull a Kenny Robinson Jr., skip out on their junior year, skip out on their senior year, and go play some football, get ready for the draft. I mean, that just might be what it is. And who knows, if some of these leagues decide to play in, I know some of these offshoot leagues that we're getting and that we're looking into, that are looking, to come up. Some of these leagues are actually, looking to play in the fall, not just play in the spring. So, there's a lot of potential there with it, to where if we don't get football, for college football, you might see some of these guys go and play in some of these smaller leagues just to get some tape, get their name out there, and make some money, because they're not making it in college football. And the fact of the matter for me is I get it that they're not getting their scholarships and, they're going to forego their scholarship. But let me ask you this question. How many of you are paying for your own college? I mean, if I could make a decent wage and be living and doing that and taking online classes and finish my schooling and still end up with a degree. I mean, there's a lot of people that work full-time jobs and go and get their college degrees and end up with really good college degrees and can do both. That's not against the question. So it ain't like that they're giving up necessarily the college degree for that, So, I mean, they can still go back. They can still pay, to go and to do that. And there are plenty of ways that you can do that aren't ridiculously expensive, and you can go through and they can pay off their schooling and still finish out their school. With that, and still be playing football and get a degree to where after their football playing days are done and do that. That's still an option for them. Just be like anybody else working a regular job. They've got their day job, which is football, and they can do night classes, they can do online classes, they can do a lot of that stuff to finish out their degree, and have, by the time they're done playing football, have a degree in their hand and be ready to go and go out into the world with whatever, or continue on with football and retire and stay in the football realm. I don't know, but there are opportunities that are there a lot of times when there's not, and we live in such a weird world to where, I possibly could see maybe a league trying to do something in 2020. I don't see anything happening with student athletes, whether that be in college or in, in prep. in high school. I don't see any, junior high, youth leagues. I just don't see that happening. I don't know. Could be wrong. Prove me wrong. We'll see what happens with that. And things are constantly changing. It's crazy day in and day out, but I just don't see that happening. And so that's kind of where it's an interesting time, because the XFL has really opened up a new world. And if we look at it differently, and I think that as we go about this new world, not only that the XFL is created with its success, but also that has been created by just this pandemic that we've been in, that it'll be interesting to see how this makes opportunities for people in different ways than normally would have happened, and how people are going to adjust and that with it. It's just going to be neat to follow and see. Now, I know it's going to be painstaking for us because we're going to continue to be without sports, but listen, like I said before, there are more important things in life than sports. And I think hopefully some of you have taken some of your time to enjoy that and put time and energy back into those things, back into people, into your friends, into your family, and the people that really, truly do matter. And really take that extra time and spend it with them and cherish them. Because the reality of it is we truly don't have a lot of time on this earth, and we spend a lot of it I would say people that look back in their lives, the things that they regret doing are spend a lot of time spending time with people. And so I would encourage you to, again, take that time to spend it with people that you love and that you cherish and that mean a lot to you. So as we talk about that, let's move to kind of some things that I'm going to do with the channel here. We're going to start a series, and I'm going to be going over, I've been going over these possible leagues to replace the XFL. I think that we've got some options here, and so I'm going to be doing some videos on them, looking into them, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to start that, and I'm going to start down looking at that. I'm going to try to be a little bit more regular with videos for you guys. I'm going to start spitting out some more content for you. Let me know what you see and what you think when you watch these videos. I want to know if this is something that interests you guys. If it's not, let me know. But I'm going to start off with a series. We're going to be looking at each one of these different leagues that would be alternatives to the XFL and to the NFL, and what my thoughts are about them and what I think about them. And we'll just kind of progress as we go. And, we'll just kind of go through some of that type of content. I'm kind of excited to kind of get back into doing some of this stuff with some of these videos. I'm also going to be doing some different type of content. We'll see if you like it. And you'll start seeing some of that coming out, in the next day or so with that. So hopefully you like that with that. But I just wanted to get some of this XFL stuff out there. And again, as the XFL stuff continues to unravel, we'll definitely be covering it here, and we'll be covering other things as they come up and as they go on. All right, guys. So, stay safe and keep up the hope. You have a good night. Bye.